The experiences you have in life and what you go through is most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, your fault. You sometimes get traumatized out of your own doing because you keep putting yourself in situations that may not be good for you, that end up having you feeling so fucking left that you don't want anything to do with that situation ever again. Sometimes you blame it on the circumstance at hand and say, I didn't have a choice. But sometimes we do have a choice, and most of the time in bad situations, we may not choose ourselves, and I find that to be the saddest thing ever. We are often taught to be selfless, to put others before ourselves. But my brain has translated that to, let me not bother the next person about my bullshit because it has nothing to do with them. I can solve it all on my own, until it gets so bad that I have to ask for help. I don't register my pain as being that important. I feel bad when I voice it out like it's supposed to be a secret. I'm literally one of those people that will only talk about the bullshit once I'm out of that situation. Not while I'm in it. I never know why. It only feels worth mentioning to the person that is making me feel this way sometimes. Once it's very bad. Not at the beginning stage when I'm still going, I don't like this, but oh well. Hi. I hope I didn't distract you too much with the visuals. Were you listening? If you were, let's continue. If you weren't, go back and listen. So, I already did this little voiceover, obviously, just now, of everything I wrote here. And I do find that in my life, I didn't put myself in a position of priority. I prioritize everybody else besides me. And I get how people are like, sometimes it's good to be selfless, it's good to think of others before yourself, but not when it's like a detrimental factor to who you are as a human being. Not when it puts you in danger so many times because you're like, if I don't do this, that person will get mad. If I don't do this, they won't be happy. If I don't do this, we will fight. And I'm trying to avoid us having a bad relationship or bad terms, or it's so many situations, right, where people put themselves second. And it's never a nice feeling to yourself because you end up resenting yourself a little bit, hating yourself a little bit, I feel, because you're just like, I'm not that important anyway. So currently I'm learning how to undo that, right? Because so many situations where you think I don't have a choice, you actually do. So many situations where you don't think you need help, but you actually do. There's so many situations where it's okay for you to not be the strong one, to not be the one that can take it all and let the other person scot-free. It's important to be able to voice your thoughts. It's important to be able to be heard. It's important to be seen. It's important to be valued. It's important for all of these things to first, number one, come from you. Not from the next person, from you. Because the concept of love goes where they say, how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? How will you be seen if you don't know what your value is? If you look in the mirror and you don't see the beautiful human being that God created, the most valuable person in your life is you. And if you're not able to see that yourself, other people will tell you how much you're worth. Other people will show you how much you're worth. And given with how much you're willing to accept is what you keep getting. I'm done being it's okay, screw me over. And honestly speaking, if I do that and I'm on some it's okay, screw me over, half of the time I don't want to speak to you ever again because you don't see me. Because the one thing about me that I will admit to is that I hate conflict, right? I don't mind being in uncomfortable conversations, right? But if you aren't able to change or kind of be considerate towards the next person, and maybe the next person in this scenario is me, you're seeing that what you're doing is hurting me. You're seeing that what you're doing doesn't sit well with me. Maybe I try to voice it out. Maybe you see it in how I act around you, that I'm not really comfortable with this. And people are lying when they say they can't read people when they feel uncomfortable in certain situations. You're a liar. You're just a fucking manipulator of people, and you do it so well to the point where people think, maybe this is what I actually want to do. But I implore people to value themselves. I implore people to work on loving themselves, seeing themselves, and teaching people how to treat them. You are the number one priority in your fucking life. You are the number one priority in your own fucking life. You cannot allow people to treat you however they want because that's what they expect from you. If that doesn't sit well with you, you leave, or you tell them, I don't like that shit. You tell them, I don't like that shit. But anyways, I want to just go through a little bit of what I wrote here. I know I've already said it, a little bit of it, like beforehand, but I just want to go paragraph by paragraph to kind of sort of just break it down for you. So I wrote this entry I didn't write this entry on this day. I think I wrote it 2 days ago. So today is the 16th of July, 2026. I wrote this entry on the 14th of July, 2026, I believe. I might have to fact check myself on the phone because that's where I wrote it and transferred it to the book. So the first little bit of the entry goes, the experiences you have in life and what you go through is most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time your fault. And I do believe this is true because in as much as people don't like to admit it, you stayed. You knew it was bad. You saw it was bad. We see the red flags. We see the signs. We see when a situation or circumstance or whatever it is not good for us. And I say not all the time because sometimes you aren't able to leave because of certain reasons, but sometimes you can. And some people just choose to stay there in the bad situation, in the burning house. And you complain about the house feeling hot afterwards. And I'm like, literally, babes, you walked into the house knowing it was on fire. You sometimes get traumatized out of your own doing because you keep putting yourself in situations that may not be good for you, that end up having you feeling so fucking left that you don't want anything to do with that situation ever again. I think that is self-explanatory, but all this stuff comes with you not valuing yourself. You don't know how much you're worth to self. You don't know how important you are. And therefore you allow yourself to be in situations where people maybe take advantage of you. People use you. People treat you some type of way that you don't feel good about, but you keep being there for whatever reason because you think that's what you deserve. And it's the saddest thing ever. Sometimes you blame it on the circumstance at hand and say, I didn't have a choice. But sometimes we do have a choice. And most of the time, in bad situations, we may not choose ourselves. And I find that to be the saddest thing ever. You know what I find when you're in like a terrible situation is that you're looking for the first way out. You're not looking for the right way out. You're not looking for the safe way out. This is like sometimes. I'm not saying most of the time. I'm not saying whatever. Sometimes when you're in a very terrible situation, you're just looking for a way out. It doesn't matter how you get out. You just want out. And most of the times, you may land into an even worse outlet. I don't know if worse is a word, but you may land into an even like bigger of a miss, right? Because you were just trying to get out of this one, and now you landed yourself in something more sticky, more bad, worser than it was before, because you were just trying to get out of here. You weren't looking out for self, you were just looking for a way out. And I do feel like that is also like a form of you not valuing yourself, because understanding that your situation is terrible for you is a good insight, is a good discernment factor, right? Planning, looking at options, seeing how you get out of a bad situation safely is also part of valuing yourself, because you're trying to make sure that you never land in the terrible situation you were in before. So sometimes circumstances do play a part in how you move, and it's not necessarily like you don't value yourself, you just had to get out. But circumstances do not always stay the same. Circumstances change. What needs to stay the same is your principles, is your value system, is your priorities. Okay? We are oftentimes taught to be selfless, to put others before ourselves, right? That's something my mom has taught me from like a young age, you know? What she's taught me though, like specifically, is if you don't have anything nice to say, do not say anything at all. This kind of fucks you up a little bit too in adulthood, because you're like, you're a bitch, but I can't say that. But they can be a bitch. They'll still continue being a bitch. And they'll probably cuss you the fuck out because now you're not saying anything. So they feel the leeway to keep calling you a bitch or being a bitch. And you can't say fuck you, you're a bitch, because you're trying not to say mean things. But in all honesty, like the whole selfless act has been translated in my brain to let me not bother the next person about my bullshit, because it has nothing to do with them. I can solve it all on my own. And I'm starting to learn now, more than any other time, that it's okay to need help. It's okay to not have it all figured out. You're not the smartest person in the world. There are people that have figured out the journey before you that can help you get there. So it's okay to ask for help. Okay? You're not bothering the next person by saying, hey, I'm not okay. I don't know how to get to a good place right now. You seem like you're in a great place. Would you mind helping me out? I mean, given some people are actually fucking assholes and they will literally go fuck you or something, but I believe most people are good people. I want to believe most people are good people. I want to believe that. It's so bad. Because half of the time when I'm like, I'll deal with situations by myself, it ends up turning sometimes, it ends up turning like very bad, because I'm just like, you don't have enough knowledge of how to get yourself out of the situation. You do what you can with what you have, but that isn't enough, and it wasn't enough to get you out of there. You could have just asked for help. You could have just been like, hey, I did some dumb shit. I don't know how to get out of this. Please help me. And someone that has a heart will, you know? But like, ask people that you know, please. People that you know and love. People that care about you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think you're bothering people that actually give a shit, that choose to be in your life. Bother those people. I used to feel like I was bothering people when I would ask for help or voice out my problems or whatever. But I'm on a journey, learning to love myself And I don't feel like I'm bothering people anymore. Plus, I'm not in as much of a terrible situation as I usually was when I first got into the city. I just need to keep my head on straight, as I do believe it is, and focus and not lose my value system and make myself a top priority. I am not, okay, maybe I'm not number one or whatever, but like, I'm top 3. You are important. You are valuable. And people that do not treat you like a gem, like a fucking diamond, don't deserve to be in your life. People that think it's okay to make you feel small don't deserve to be in your life. Circumstances or situations, environments that make you feel small, that make you feel devalued, that make you feel like you're not a priority, are also not places you should be in. And I do implore people, please figure out what is important to you, because I can't tell you what's important to you. You either know it or you'll figure it out. Like, it's okay to stumble and fall while you try to find yourself, while you try to figure out who you are, what's important to you, what's not important to you. It's okay to stumble and fall while you do that. That does not make you any less valuable. It doesn't make you any less valuable at all. But please, take some time to figure out what's important to you. And you best say it's you. One of those things must be you. And if people do not respect you enough to treat the things that you value, or even you and your sort of like opinions, I guess, or morals, or like little things about you that you're like, I cannot change this about myself. I do not wish to. I'm not comfortable with this. I do not want this anymore. If they don't treat these little things that you say to them as like of importance, leave. Please leave. Please leave. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes you don't even realize you're not being valued. But the minute you do realize that, no, here is not where I should be. Because if I'm allowing myself to be in a situation where they see me lesser than, what does that say about me? Do I also think the same way? But yeah, love you guys lots. And I'll talk to you about the next little topic on the next episode. Bye.